What's up, everybody? This is TJ with Fake It or Make It. I'm out here in the shop, and this is episode 2 in the vlog series about me learning how to do some gunstock checkering. I have my scrap piece of walnut with 3 coats of True Oil on it, and I have it sitting in the Hornady parts dryer. It's kind of cool out here, and that last coat was taking a pretty good while to get hard and cure and not be so gummy, so I threw it in there, and that's worked for me in the past for small pieces that I'm in a rush to do, trying out different things, so that's not a big deal. We have our hobby vise right here that we're going to take and put our piece of scrap walnut in. We have all of our Ullman Precision checkering tools at our disposal. We got a couple of little rulers. We have, just for reference, our SL Maze Checkering, a book for checkering, a book of checkering for the beginner. So I'm a little illiterate this morning. And we also have our checkering template for reference. What we're going to be doing today is, what I'm going to be doing, I don't know why I have the habit of saying we. Is there somebody in here? Is them other 2 guys in here? Maybe they're in here. Anyway, we're going to be doing a checkering pattern that is 18 lines per inch. We have our 18 line per inch 2-line cutter set up in this one. I put the little finger pad on there to see if I like that. I kind of do. I might install that on all of them. And we have our 60-degree V-gouge, which is a nice sharp little V-gouge right out of the box. All right. Oh, and we have our Stabilo pencil, Omnichrome Stabilo pencil. It marks on anything, smooth, rough surfaces, it doesn't matter, and it's water soluble, so you can lick your finger and wipe it right off, no problem. And it's soft enough that it doesn't leave an indentation in the surface that you're working on, like maybe a hard lead pencil would. So let me get that part out of the dryer, put it here in the vise, and we're going to get started. one thing I'm starting to realize is I really need some magnification. I have this old Bosch and Lomb jeweler's loop, and I can kind of monitor what's going on, because my first line, I tracked in my master lines with the 90-degree cutter here. Well, that cuts a little bit wider of a trough or a line than the 2-line spacer. So it looked like I had messed up, but under magnification, it looks messed up just because that master line is wider than the spaced out lines. I really need to get one of those optivisors, because there's so much figure in the wood, and you have reflections and all that stuff going on, so it's really hard to see with the naked eye. I'm wearing glasses right now, but I mean, they're really not doing anything for this. So that's going to be definitely something I need to get in the very near future to be able to make a solid go at this, because I can't really do anything if I can't see what I'm doing. So that's something to think about. One thing that I can't seem to get my head around is how infinitely small this is and how difficult it is to see. I know I probably should kill the overhead lighting, but it actually helps in some cases. When you're looking at the point of this thing to track in your lines, it's so wild that you think that you're cutting straight, and then you pull the tool away and you have a veered line. And this is a really figured piece of walnut, and that's probably not helping my learning curve, but I mean, geez, this is definitely more difficult than I thought it would be. And I think because it's just so tiny, so small, and if I can't see what I'm doing, I can't do what I need to do properly, but I'm gonna keep going at it, because this is why I do this, for practice. Well, y'all, that did not go as planned. This was a epic failure. I have just really got to get better control of the cutters. Well, let's just say there is no beginner's luck present here. So now that I've realized that there wasn't much sense in continuing, as it's just going to keep getting worse and worse if you get off on a few lines here or there. Now, I do realize that there is ways that you can fix your mistakes, but there's too many mistakes at this point. Let's see if you can see. The lines just started running out. I would track really well in a few lines, and then it would jump out of the guide for the 2-line cutter. It would jump out, and then it would have a run. It would run over onto another line, and it wouldn't stay. The 2-line cutter wouldn't just stay in its tracks and cut. And it wasn't the cutter's fault; it's my fault. Which kind of sucks because I had 3 coats of True Oil on this, and so now I'm gonna have to cut this back off with the hand plane and do it again. But I think I have some more pieces about this size, and I'm going to go ahead and prep up a couple of them with True Oil and let them dry for the week, because I'm out here on the weekends, and get them ready for next weekend. I've run out of time this weekend working on various projects and stuff like that, so I work with this as I can. It wasn't a total failure in that I did learn a few things, and I'm going to be a little more conscientious about what I'm doing. And I think some of the problem is that I'm working over the top of my workpiece instead of working up and down. And so if I could make some sort of fixture to hold these little blocks, these little blanks in my vise, to where I could stand and work straight up and down instead of hunched over and doing like this, because just like sawing, you need your arm and shoulder and wrist to be on a straight line as you're cutting with a handsaw. Much the same with this, and it wasn't registering in my mind that if I'm just using my wrist, I could get off any which way. So next weekend, I'm gonna figure out a way to put this in the vise, and maybe take a long pipe clamp it up in there like that, and then clamp the pipe in the vise to where I can stand and work and look and get right here on top of my work, instead of trying to be hunched over and sit. I like to sit to do a lot of tedious things, but this seems like one of those things that it would be better for me to stand. I'll put some pictures at the end of the video up close of how terrible this is. Yes, it definitely turned into a smelly diaper like that. So that being said, we're gonna regroup, get everything back together, get some more blanks coated with True Oil, and we'll be ready to get them again next weekend and see if we can do any better. I hope y'all enjoyed the videos. I hope you enjoy the vlogs, watching me stumble, sputter, stutter, trip over everything, trying to learn how to do this gunstock checkering. If you like what I'm doing, hit the like button. If you like these videos, if you like my videos, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And if you want to see and keep up with what I'm doing and get a notification whenever I put new videos out, hit the little bell for notifications. I will catch you on the next one. I am exhausted from this tedious checker. So, y'all be safe and y'all come back now.